Hi, welcome back to C Miniatures, the Miniature-holic channel. What I want to do right now is get started on the Thorn Hill. This week, I want to get started on hallway 1. Get this fixed up and make it look nice. And then, I want to work on hallway 2. That'll be the following week. I've been waiting to get to this for a long time. With that being said, let's get started. Okay, so we're ready to get started on the Thorn Hill. Now, what I'm doing is I've cleaned out the Thorn Hill on all 4 sides, even up in the attic. Then I went over here and pulled out everything from inside the house. Because if you note in my previous videos, any house that I like and I feel like, I wanted something in it, then I would put things in it, store it until I was ready to fix it up. So I'm just showing you how everything is ready. So I'm going to put light in. So in order to put the light in the room that I want, I have to come up here, drill a hole, and then put the light in from the bottom. The cord won't show because I'll put a groove in it and then cover it with flooring. So I'm going to go through each one of these rooms, measure the floors so that I can get the center, and then I'm going to drill a hole in each one. Also, I've made some templates that I can put the flooring on, and I'll show you how I'm going to make the template. I've already done it, but I'm going to do it again just to show you. Okay, so after I did the measurements of that area, I just taped 2 pieces of paper together to make it just a little bit bigger so that it'll fit. And then I just took some tape, put it together. I have to make sure it's even. Alright. And now I'm going to show you how I did it. Okay, so I got 2 sheets of paper together, and I simply just put it in, and it pretty much fits all the way. So it's just a little bit hanging off the edge, so I just bend it. Just put a crease in it. And then so I'm going to cut that with scissors. So I'm going to use these scissors. And that's going to give me a perfect fit. So then I'm going to take this sample template, and got a board. It's called a railroad board. Okay, I got this big RR board. And let's see if we can... Okay. So it's called an RR board. It's 14 ply, white. You can get it at art supplies. So all I did, literally, was take this, put it on here, make sure it was even, then I traced it, and then I cut it out, and then I had my template. So that's how I got my template, not just for this floor, but for the ceiling and for every floor and ceiling throughout this house. Okay, so I put my sample template on top of this thin piece of cardboard, and so I moved this out the way because this door, this entrance right here, let's see if I can get you in here to see this entrance right here. This door, for some reason, this one is, it's a little bit, let's see, it's not a good fit. So now I'm going to have to pretty much sand down this up here so it'll fit. But the floor fits. So let me move this door. The floor fits. So once I get that down flat, and this actually goes in, then it'll be a nice floor. But you're gonna have to like mess with your floors and determine, you know, how much you got to cut off and where you need to cut it off at. But when you're done, you have a nice firm template for your flooring. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure my floor, because I want to get everything set up for lighting now early, so nothing will be in the way. So this is a tight fit. About, let's see, 11. Okay, so we're looking at around 5.5. And then we go this way, so I can see about 5. No, I don't want to go too far because the door has to go here. So, and who's not an expert at measurements is me. So I guesstimate a lot. So this is around 10.5. 10, let's see, that's 5.25. So 1/4, let's say 5.25 right here. So my light is looking to be in the center of this room to be about right here. So we'll make a little circle. Yeah, and it looks about right. And like my instructor Bill said at the Guild School, hey, if you do it and you don't like it, start over, paint over it. And so it's only a small hole. And as far as the bit, I'm not quite sure what bit it is. It is a Dremel. So you have to determine how small or how big you want your hole. So I'm going to do it with this bit because it's big enough and strong enough. So this is kind of going to be a tight fit. So I'm going to start like right here. Okay. There, got a hole for the light. And then once you put the floor on it, you won't even see it. But I'm going to take something, and you're going to have to literally put grooves in the floor so that the wire, you know, will fit. And it won't be a lump when you put the floor down. It won't be like a lump over the wire. So you make it fit into the groove, and I'll show you as we go along. But I'm going to go through every room in this house and do what I just did. I'm going to measure it and make templates for each and every one. And then we'll move on from there. Okay, and I want to show you this. It might help you out. I literally drilled the hole, but I put a circle around that hole so that I don't lose it. Because if you sit up and draw a hole in this wood, you're going to be looking for that little hole because it's really not that big. So it may help you by putting a circle around that hole. And I did the same thing for up here in the attic. I put a circle around the hole. And I'm going to do that throughout the house so that it's easier for me to spot when I get ready to do my wiring. Just thought it might help. Okay, so I've completely put holes in every part of the Thorn hill that's going to allow me to put the wiring for the lights. So those are done. And then I've also cut templates out for every floor and every ceiling in every room. Like, for example, we can look at this one. Okay, so this one says top rear hall. Well, I also made a template for the top rear hall ceiling. So in case I want to do something for the ceiling and I don't feel like trying to fight to put it up there, I just do it on the template and then glue the template to the ceiling. So I did that for each and every room inside of the Thorn hill. Makes it much easier. And so before I go any further, the lighting is important. If you can actually make the holes and do your measurements before you put the house together, it might be a whole lot easier than as if it was when I was in there trying to put that Dremel. It's difficult and it's really tight. So try to do that before you put the house together. And also, you're going to have to make grooves. When I do actually put the lighting and the wiring in, I will show you how I make the grooves and how I wire the house. So a lot of the wiring is getting, the prep for the wiring is going to get done early. The flooring is important. So to make the templates, it makes it much easier for you. I would literally suggest that you review this video that I'm attaching so you'll understand flooring. Now, I asked my miniature buddy, Sarana, if we could use this video to explain flooring to people. So she said yes, she didn't have a problem with it. So she was showing me how she does her flooring, which I had no idea you could do it like that. I was just doing it the old-fashioned way with like wood or, you know, pre-made flooring from Hobby Lobby. You know, there's all kind of ways you can do it, and the way she showed me is amazing. So I'm going to try that one in the Thornhill. And I even got tile that I'm going to show you later on how I got it from Lowe's and different hardware stores and cut them into small pieces, and you make different designs with it. I'm also going to do some hardwood flooring, so I'll decide that later. Like I said, I don't map things out. I don't pre-plan things. I just actually do it as I go. I come up with ideas and I think about them, but I don't actually write it down. So let's watch the video and then I'll get back with you.
And see, this way requires absolutely no measuring. You know, I don't know. Let me see. Are you gonna? Can you write on there? And that will even write.
So to get started off, cut of a square, you cut a 45-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you're starting with a strip,
mm-hmm.
which you'll see here in a second. So put a piece of tape down. And this is now your guideline. This is now your guideline. So, look. So, feel it. So you'll be able to feel it. Now, push it. Push it up to the tape.
Oh, okay. That's where it stops.
Feel it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So now you just made a stop for your angle. So now you should have no problem cutting all your angles the same. Right? Okay. So our next step is we want 1-inch pieces. And you can do this one or two ways. You can either, let's see, so where we are. Okay, so we want a 1-inch piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I marked this back end, and I marked this back end as a guideline because we know this edge is flat, right?
Right.
So what we're going to do is take this, which is on the 5-inch mark, right? Our drawn line, scoot it up to the 4-inch mark.
Oh, smart.
So we know that we moved it 1 inch. Drop it. And we might be right or we might not be right. Let's see what we got. Let me see. Did we manage to do it? No, we're off a little bit. Wait a minute. Look, let me make sure this one's actually an inch. Okay, that's an inch. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is not a full inch. This is 3/4 of an inch.
Oh, okay.
So we are at 1 inch that way. And see, this one's an inch. But remember, my strip is not an inch.
Right. Okay.
That's
good to know.
Yeah, but the strip is not an inch. But so it should, when you do it, you should be able to move it and get an inch.
Okay.
If that seems hard, there's another easy way. Is on your mat board, you got a 45-degree angle,
mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Put it up against that line.
Once you cut that first initial piece off.
Cut that, yep. Get your angle
at
on there.
At a 45 degree.
Get your angle on there. These are now your 1 inch marks. Okay, because we got them at 1 inch. And then you should be able to use your cutter. And put that mark onto the line, right to the edge of your cutter. Okay? So put that right there. And you get your next piece.
Cool. Okay.
So you've now got, and then all you have to do is keep doing the same thing. And so if you've marked it right, the same, then all your pieces should come out the same. Should be the same size.
Cool.
Okay. Another way you can do it, same thing, measure it. So we know we have 1 inch. You can literally go down the line of a long strip and measure 1 inch.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And still be able to do that. So you could actually mark 1 inch, mark 1 inch, mark 1 inch, mark 1 inch, mark 1 inch. Over to the other side, mark 1 inch, mark 1 inch, mark 1 inch, mark 1 inch, mark 1 inch. Okay, so you're going to do that on both sides. Okay?
Okay.
And this time, when you cut, you are going to put that first line up there, and the second line up there. So you see, this mark is here, and this mark is up here. Okay. Oops. Right there. Okay, 1 inch lines. Cut that off.
Oh, okay. And you got your triangle. The start point.
You have you're right. You have an angle. Yeah, you have your angle. So remember to use your lines on your board. That helps you out as far as marking. You can mark 40 degrees, whatever you have on your board. This board, I think I can mark 45 and 60. So yeah, so this board I can mark 30, I can mark 45, and I can mark 60.
Okay.
So it gives me, those angles. So I can mark 35, 40, and 60. So remember, strips, same thing. Use your guillotine cutter, cut a 1 inch strip, turn it the other way, cut a 1 inch strip.
Okay.
So whatever, like I said, because whatever length you have, as far as that goes, like I said, you can always cut it off, and just give yourself even numbers if you're doing that. If you're going to do 1/4 inch squares, same thing. Cut your strips, cut your strips at 1/4. Using the guillotine cutter is, like I said, it's fast. When you have a whole bunch of stuff
it is way faster than that.
Especially if you're using if your design is mostly squares and triangles, then you can easily use your cutter for that. So like I said, so we know this line, my solid line here is 1 inch. So we know that is, that's the 1 inch line. We know that this is 1/4 inch. So this is 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch left.
See, mine doesn't have that little thing yours have to hold it.
The holder. Well, I love that part.
Mine is so old though.
And there you go.
Okay.
Nice 1/4 inch strip. Same thing. Bring that up here. See how long we got. Remember, put the edge up there. See, but I don't have a flat edge, so I'm just gonna it up, cut that off. Now I got a flat edge. It's right at the edge. We're actually at 5 1/4 inches. So we'll just take that and actually move it up. That's a tiny bit longer, but basically move it up to that, drop it down.
Oh, he's so cute.
And just, and then just keep doing that and get your 1/4-inch squares. Because like I said, if you don't have a flat edge, just remember to start yourself off with a flat, even edge and then start cutting. So like I said, so I am at 5 inches. Move it up 1/4. And cut. And then you'll have your 1/4-inch squares. The other thing is you don't have to use just 1/4 inch. You can vary them. So you can use
What inch is that?
this is a 1 inch.
Huh.
This is about 1 inch, somewhere in there. Well, if I was cutting right, but but remember when I was talking about the design, you can have that 1 inch square, and then have that 1/4 inch square, and then your 1 inch square.
Oh, you're making a border around it. That's cool.
So that's more or less what I was talking about yesterday, when I was saying you can do that and you can change the colors of the wood.
By the grain.
You can change the color by the grain.
Right.
So you'll get the visual effect from that. But you can also change the color.
Oh, yeah.
Of the
Okay.
wood.
Mixing the colors. Okay.
So remember, we can have this one as a dark one. The tiny one is a dark square, and then we can use a light square.
And I always make sure the grain, or like the grain is going in the same direction now, but you can also turn it
You can
to give it a different effect.
Yes. And then what you just want to do is keep that, make sure when you do that and you set that pattern, that you keep that through the whole floor.
Okay.
Because sometimes you might do it and then be like, oh, crap, at the end when you're looking at it, you go, oh, man, because you changed one of them the wrong way. But yeah, so this is something that can be, something that can be done. And like I said, it's nothing but strips and squares. And then you put a border around it.
Okay, so now, how did you make the arrows with the triangles? You just put the tips together?
Talking about these?
Yeah. There was a floor you was working on. I forgot what you called it. And I seen it on... Oh, okay. I remember.
Talking about looking like a herringbone.
Yeah, that's
chevron.
what it was. Yeah, that was.
Chevron and herringbone floor. Yeah.
But that was cute too, with the triangles together.
The diamonds. You can do the diamonds, or triangles, or whatever.
Yeah. And I remember the herringbone, that was with the wood going.
So this is chevron. Okay. So this is chevron floor. And we are making the grains go the same way. Okay, so the grains go vertical. Okay, grains go vertical. You can then change which way the grain goes. So instead of being vertical, the grain will crisscross like it's going horizontally.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you can change that grain. So you see how it looks a little different?
And it's beautiful.
And see, and that's also what gives you a flow to your floors. Is by matching making sure you're watching where your grain goes.
Okay.
So you can do it like this. You can do them all the same. So you can do them all to where the grain will go like this. You can do them all where the grain will go like this. You can, do a whole floor that way, where it's either this, or you can mix them.
Okay.
How, whatever it is that looks, looks good to you. But what you want to, the main thing you do want to do is you want to make sure that just as you do your pattern, that you're making it the same. That's the biggest,
Okay.
is making sure it's the same. And then once you do that, but play with it like this first. Don't just glue it down to the floor.
Oh, yeah, make your pattern first.
Make your pattern first so that you can see it. But the other thing you want to do is you can take a picture of it. So take a picture of what you did and keep playing with it. So give yourself 2 or 3 options or so to do.
Okay.
So like this is one pattern here. And so we've got it going this way, and then we've got it going straight up. So you might take a picture of that. Then take it apart, and then put all of it the same pattern. So you've got one that looks with them all going the horizontal. Continue with the chevron. The other thing to remember is sometimes you can do it and it looks boring or it looks dull.
So
or you'd be like, I liked it the other way, where one pattern was going one way and one was going the other. Or, you mix it up a little bit and throw the square in there. And you throw the square in there. And give yourself more of a tumbling blocks for.
Oh, that's too cute.
So that now gives you a different dimension. So it can be all the same color or various colors or whatever, but it gives you a bit of change, a bit of difference.
Actually, it looks 3D-ish. It's cute.
That's what it's supposed to look. It's called tumbling blocks.
Oh, okay.
So it's called tumbling blocks or 3D blocks, or but tumbling blocks is one of the ones they call, and you see it in quilt patterns a lot.
Wow, that is just too cute. Isn't it? It looks so different
from the other design. Then, like I said, remember you can do even and these are all the same shapes. There's nothing different about these shapes. I didn't change anything. I'm just changing the way they go together. And so you can get a pinwheel sort of block.
It's like a puzzle. It's cute.
And then
okay.
So this is another like 3D block floor, but it just starts from the different types, the pinwheel type. But then if you turn it back out, and you just keep going. And basically what you're doing is you're making this look like the very first pinwheel. So remember, you did a square and then the 2 pinwheels. And then as you look at the next square, you should see the same pinwheels.
Oh, okay. It's repeat pattern. And so the herringbone is the ones with the sticks, where you just put them together and it makes it look...
Herringbones is just the stick. That's the butt joint. Herringbones are pretty easy, as those are just butt joints. So herringbone is, you start, of course, by being on a 45-degree angle. And then you just butt your sticks next to each other. So you start the first one, second one. And then literally you just keep
stacking them.
butting them next to each other. And they will.
We're not stacked. Yeah, okay.
And all you do is decide on what length you want to use. So for this one, all you would do is decide on, like I said, what length it is you want to use. You can do squares and all that, but yeah, it just keeps going all the way down.
So with those,
Because
we can
you're
actually
going to
make these. The parquet.
Yes.
You can make those out of those.
Yep.
Oh, shut up.
Yep. It's all like I said. It's all basic squares, rectangles.
Yeah. So you put the multi colors, and then you kind of
You just have a lighter wood and a darker wood. That's it. You just have a lighter wood and a darker wood. Okay. So let me show you. So to make this a little better, you can see what I'm talking about. The herringbone. And I'm just marking where 1 inch is on the wood with my finger.
And so I used to call this a cutter all the time, and the proper name is a galvantine.
Guillotine.
Oh, guillotine.
Yep, guillotine.
Okay. And I always just called it a cutter. Because I used to...
Yeah, guillotine. Guillotine.
I think mine is about, oh my God,
That's okay.
6, 7 years old. And it doesn't have the little whole thing, which is way better.
Well, I don't know. Let me see. When did I buy this? Mine's maybe 4 or 5 years old. But they got one at United Artists, boy.
Oh, Lord.
I can't help it. I love my tools. I love my tools.
Oh, shoot. And I decided the tool chest, I'm going to leave it alone. It looks cute. I don't want to stain it. I don't want to change it. But I organized my tools in it. I'm so happy. Oh, my God. I actually got access to tools without looking through stuff.
I'm telling you, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, and I did get 2 of those cases that you got right there, those totes. I got 2 of those.
2 of what?
The A jar. I only got the A jar. And
well, I just took them and stacked them. I took them apart and stacked them because they come apart, each single drawer. So you can raise that 1 drawer at a time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that each drawer is separate. You can take. So what I did was, these were 8 drawers, and then I bought another one, and then took those drawers off and stacked them up until I had it as high as I wanted it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, each single drawer comes apart. So like if I wanted it to fit up under here, I could take it and drop the drawers, pull them all off until they slide up under here.
Yep. It was perfect for my scrapbook, and I got all of it because it was stacked on the table. So now I got them in the drawers.
What, talking about all your paper and stuff?
Oh, yeah, because it was, and I didn't want to wait for the create room, the dream box. I'm like, I got to do something with these. So.
Well, look, it's okay because they're nice and sturdy and whatever.
Yeah, they are. They're not flimsy.
Not at all. Okay, so this will give you a better look at the herringbone, okay? So what you would do is have whatever your pieces are, your 1 inch or whatever. So as you put them together, you're going to end up seeing that you have staggered ends. Okay? So you see how this is sitting out here like that? And so you would keep doing your pieces. Then, so once you get that, then what you would do is go the opposite way.
Oh.
But you would have them, cut right and laid out right. But that's how the herringbone works. because using just the long strips, you weren't going to be able to see that second row overlap. So that's why I cut them. And that's how you continue herringbone floor. So you just decide on what length of pieces you want to use.
And how you want your pattern. As far as, and you can actually mix those triangles and diamonds and squares with that.
Yeah.
Shut up.
You sure can. Because this is a 1-inch square and those are 1-inch pieces.
Okay.
So you could, how that is, so you could, more or less just keep it going that way. And then, of course, you have to fiddle with it as you're doing it. And then the other thing is use graph paper. Do you have graph paper? Use graph paper. Paper with the squares on it.
Yeah.
Get a piece of graph paper. Take the graph paper, lay it out, and draw your template on top of it, or whatever, the outside lines. And what you do is take your graph paper and match your graph paper to the size. So take where the corner is, make one of your squares and put it up in that corner. And then see, so if this is the corner of if this is your paper or your template, take it and match one corner up into that corner. So that way you've got it all even. And then once you do that, you can actually use your graph paper to lay out your floor.
Oh, okay.
So because the graph paper, what you'll do is more or less like we do with the board. Remember, this is all the same. Graph paper has squares. Our quilting board has squares.
Are the graph papers 1-inch squares?
Yeah, usually, it'll tell you what the squares is, but all you have to do, because there's different sizes of squares, it's real easy. Take your ruler and measure it. See how many squares are in 1 inch. So a lot of times it's 4. So most of the time they are 1/4 inch already on the graph paper. So if it's already a 1/4 inch on that graph paper or smaller, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just go up and, like I said, in that corner and mark off what that square is, 1 inch, and then see how many squares is in it. Okay. So once you do that and you see how many squares is in it, it's 1 inch. Like I said, start off with your border, and you're going to mark off 1 inch all the way around your border. Okay. Once you mark off that 1 inch around your border, because remember, we can adjust that if need be. So if our center design is a fraction, we can take that off the borders.
Okay.
So if you come up with a center that's 10.5 or something, and it's not quite because you're using 1-inch squares or whatever, you can adjust that.
Okay.
But we've got graph paper. We drawn it on graph paper. We didn't glue any wood down and mess it up. So, and then the other thing is on your graph paper, you can do angles and everything else because you have a reference line. So your reference line are those squares. So once you do is you can go up to one square, the corner of that 1-inch square, down to the corner of that other inch square, and draw a diagonal line.
Okay.
So you can do that for your herringbone floors or any other kind of floors that you want to try to do. The other thing about using the graph paper is if you want to put something like the squares in the middle, you can do that. And you can draw it on the graph paper. Because then that'll help you with what size you need. So because you might not be able to use, that size. So you might need to make, the square smaller or the square bigger or whatever it is. You might have to do that. But you'll have your reference point on what to do. So let me see. Because I might or could make, because you're going to go here. So doing something like that or other is a little trickier. So you would want, like I said, to use your graph paper.
Okay.
And do that. However, we would end up having to change that because I think the square would have to be a little smaller to get the pattern in there. But let me see something. Let's do you. But this one might be one using the squares that we might have to use graph paper. Because I think we can turn the floor. which is also what might work. Just turning the floor around it.
Play with it. Okay.
But you know, as you can see, but we turned it around, because I haven't done this particular pattern or with the squares in it or anything. But this is another one where the center square can be a different color. So like this one, I would probably do a darker one, like a darker square in this particular floor. And or I mean, it doesn't even have to be super darker, but I'd probably do something a little bit darker. But yeah, so you can see this is turned around.
And what color is that?
This is cherry wood.
Oh, okay. That one's hard to find.
Cherry?
That one, yeah.
No, it's not. Cherry is the most popular.
I couldn't find none. Everybody out.
That's why, because it's the most popular.
Well, they need to stop it. Can I really?
That's why it's the most popular.
Yeah.
You're talking about I can't find it because everybody bought it. But yeah, so you can, like I said, you can turn that around. But you see how I just had to do it because I haven't done that particular floor yet. But but what you do is just look at how everything is intersecting. So I don't want something just sitting. I don't want something just sitting next to each other like that.
Right.
So the next thing is just turn it the opposite, the opposite way, interrupt that. And then that sets up our next area for what we're going to do. And then you can, and then from there, you would just decide where or how many squares, you would want to use. Like you might want to do 4 rows in between or something, which means you're going to take, so this is row 1. This would be row 2. That's, oops, you are the wrong way. There you go. Row 3. Row 4. And then you might want to put another
that's cute.
Square or whatever. So, and that's how you would keep going through it. But you can, like I said, you can do that using graph paper. So use your graph paper. So when we're talking about getting a 45-degree cut, I don't have to move anything because that's what this is. So I literally just come like this. So if I'm doing 45s, I just do like that.
Oh, okay.
And put it right up against this fence. And this will give me my 45. And yeah, that did cut easier than yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I'm sorry, but
I'm gonna try.
But yeah, so then all I have to do is put it up against the fence. And remember when I was talking about make your 1-inch marks? That's it. And you can sit here in your 1-inch marks
and cut all day, and it makes it a lot easier.
Cut all freaking day. Yep, cut all day. So this is my 1-inch mark. This is my 1-inch mark. It's my 1-inch mark. 1-inch mark. 1-inch mark. 1-inch mark. Like I said, use what you have. And then the other thing is this is not 1 inch. That's my problem, ma'am. You are at a 1/2 inch. And that's okay too. I'm going to scoot it to the other side of my board. And I'm going to do 1/2 inch mark. 1/2 inch mark. Yeah, there we go.
Yep, way easier to cut. Way.
Okay, get back in there.
Yeah, because I was dreading that big one. I'm like, I don't want to fight with that thing.
And you just cut Whatever.
That would probably be a cute pattern with the 1/2-inch diamonds and the 1-inch diamonds.
I mean, you can do whatever. Just remember, these shapes are off because they're not the right. Look, they're not the right measurements and stuff. But yeah. Oh, that's one. You know, just doing diamonds. And just remember to turn them the other way. So you could do a diamond floor or skinny sticks. Short sticks. And remember, you'll have a little angle on them. But basically, you'll end up with
putting each one of them in a frame, like.
Yep, just with diamonds. So basically, you would end up looking like that.
Oh, that's cute.
So you have your
got it. And just play with it. Okay, so you cannot tell me that that was not an interesting video. So, with that type of information, you know, there's so many avenues you can go and so many ideas. And she has a way with flooring. I just love it. So this week we've learned about how to prepare for lighting. And it is best that you can actually put the holes for your lighting in before you put the house together if you can. That way you'll have more room because it was a tight squeeze in here. Also, we got the templates done for the flooring and the ceiling in case I want to do something with the ceiling. Instead of trying to turn upside down and look and twist, I can actually do the ceiling flat and then glue it to the top. So we got to also put the grooves and figure out where we're going to run the wiring, and you won't be able to see it. It'll be flat because if you don't make grooves and lay it in the grooves, you're literally going to have humps when you lay that flooring down. So we don't want that. So we're going to do the walls next week, try to get the grooves and figure out where we're going to go and, you know, get this baby together. We're almost there. We're going to also include the door. Going to measure it and see, you know, the walls have to match the top floor on the door, and then the bottom floor, the walls got to match this area here. So we got to do more measuring. Like I said, I'm not a type of person that can just write things down and have a plan. I don't know why, but that's just not me. I just have to go with the flow. I still have to contemplate through the week how we're going to do this flooring. So not quite sure. I love the way she did it. I do want my 2 front hallways to be different than the rooms, but we'll see. Like I said, I just go with the flow. And like my instructor Bill at the Guild School said, if you don't like it, start over. I love it. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week. Bye.